Hello everybody, this is Alyssa from Ink Arts and Crafts, and today we are here for my WIP and Chat. So WIP stands for Work in Progress. Chat, well, we're going to sit here, we're going to chat a little bit about the week. It's really actually the last 2 weeks, all I've been up to, all that fun stuff like that. I've actually been diamond painting literally the majority of today. I'm trying to really push and finish Fushimi Inari. So I was like, I actually honestly need a little bit of a break from it. I should have just filmed while I was working on it, but I just uncovered my final section, which happens to be like a quarter of the canvas. I just ripped the entire plastic cover over because it's a lot of line blocking now. And I'm like, I'm just going to finish this section of the canvas all in one go. And that's not very conducive to filming a WIP and Chat because I can't get that much of the canvas in screen. So I decided we're going to do something a little different today. We are going to come over in my WIP and Chat. I will be doing stitching for my WIP and Chat today. We are working on, this is a Snail's Hollow stitch along from Stitch Crypt, and I am absolutely loving it. So every week a new section of this pattern has been coming out. This is the tiny little section right there is what I finished last week. The week before was the stump. Before that I did this little bunny in its hole. We've got these big mushrooms with snails and a bird. That was a lot of confetti on that little bird. These little shroomies over here, and there's a border that I've done. So I'm making some really good progress on it. It's coming along nicely. Yesterday, the section that goes right here was just released. It's only like 300 and something stitches, 377 stitches. So it's really not something that's going to take me a lot of time, but I was really excited for it. So, and I tried it on the weekends. I try to do some stitching on the weekends. So I'm going to work on it, and we're going to see if we can, how far I can get in this hour of this WIP and Chat for it. I've also never filmed myself doing my stitching like this, so we will see how it goes. I'm working on trying to improve my setup to give you guys a better view when I'm doing things. And I got this fantastic tripod, it's actually a mic stand that came highly recommended from Mackenzie over at Dragon Wing Diamonds. So I was like, perfect, I'll get that. And then I got a phone thingy to attach to it, and then the phone thingy came in a couple days ago, and I was like, perfect. And then my mic stand just came in yesterday, and I was going to use it today for my WIP and Chat, and then I realized that the mic stand actually, the thingy that I got that should hold my phone and screw into the end of the mic stand actually does not screw in. It's not the right matching size. So I had to order a new phone holder for my mic stand. So I can't use the new mic stand, but I did just swap out the head on this tripod stand that I'm using right now, which I don't like the grip that it had for holding the phone because it held the phone lengthwise, so you couldn't see any of your screen at all from the top view. And the one that I got goes widthwise, so it's a much skinnier grip. It's only this wide rather than that wide. So that actually I just swapped out from the tripod, the stand that I'm using right now that I'm not as much of a fan of because it's not very sturdy, but I'm really excited to get the new stand in. So that way our next WIP and Chat over on my diamond painting side, you guys can have the perfect top down angled on view and not have to have it be all weird. So anyways, that's the plan. So anyways, like I said, we're working on this Stitch Crypt Snail's Hollow stitch along. I think this is week 9 of the stitch along. Technically, it's kind of like week 10 if you think of the border was was an extra goodie that we got, kind of breaking into it. Ooh, I need to set my timer because I like to time how long it takes me to do my cross stitch projects too. So I actually don't even wear my glasses for this. This is a good break for my eyeballs because I don't have to worry about wearing glasses. So we are going to start right here. So I do what's called a loop start, which basically I come down and then I come back up right there and pull through. And now I have a loop, and then I just take that loop right down through there. And we are good. Okay, let me tighten my stand a little bit more because that's a little wiggly. Okay. All right. So now we are in action. So we're just going to kind of stitch along. I'm going to be looking at the pattern while I stitch. So fair warning if you're like, wait, what are you doing? I'm kind of following this pattern as I go, which is kind of like doing well, it's basically doing a cross stitch conversion, but I don't know. I've been finding it pretty easy to, I haven't done a cross stitch conversion in a little bit, not I did a little snacky one a couple months ago, but I haven't done an actual cross stitch conversion project in a hot minute. So I'm probably due for one, or just, you know, work on the one that's sitting on my desk. But anyways, I know it's been like 2 weeks since I did my last WIP and Chat. I feel like it has been such a busy, like, last 2 weeks. I was working on, yeah, so like I said, very busy. Oh, wait, no, that's not one over there. See, this is, I get distracted. At least it's quick to go boop. I also just spent, you know, like an hour and a half pulling drills off of a canvas, putting different drills down. And then I had to use the drills that I pulled off the canvas in a different section of the canvas. And they were like super glue stuck to each other. So it was a pain in the butt to get them to stick. So I just spent way too long doing that and placing those. So that's also a big part of why I needed a break from my diamond painting. Because I'm working on Fushimi and Ari, and I'm doing the enhancement set from DP with Sparklers, but I'm not a big fan of crystals, but I'm like, okay, it's fine. I'll do what they have recommended. And then I added some additional enhancements on top of it. Well, the first half of the canvas looked fine, and then the second half of the canvas has more darks in the bottom corner, and it called for this one crystal that was supposed to go everywhere on that symbol on the entire canvas. And I had done it in the sky, and it looks great. It's a deep blue crystal. It looks great in the sky. It looks great in our girl wearing the kimono, and the cat as like some really cool accents for them. But then it's also supposed to be in like this shadow area on the right base of the shrines, of the gates. And I was like, I like turned off the light, and I stood back and looked at it, and I was like, I don't think I like that. So I ended up pulling those off and putting the regular ones on that it called for right in that spot. And I'm much happier with that. But also the reason why I kind of took a good hard look at it, because I like ran out of that particular crystal. So it was like, okay, well, I do need to buy more of that crystal. I could before I can finish this. But then I was looking at it and I was like, I actually really don't like how it looks with the crystals on there where they are. So I ended up pulling them off. And in the process of pulling them off, you know, I still needed to use those crystals in the upper portion of the canvas. So that just meant I have some very adhesive stuck crystals that I couldn't shake in my tray. So I had to literally like single place because I had to pull each one and kind of separate from the other ones because of the glue adhesive on the back of it. And it was just a pain in the butt. So I needed a little bit of a breather from the diamond painting. Hence the reason we are now coming over here and working on my cross stitch. So I do spend a fair amount of time cross stitching, not quite every day, but because I basically, you know, I have so many random hobbies. I basically come home from work and I hobby in some way, shape, or form. Because I've got my brush painting, I've got cross stitch, I've got pixels, I've got diamond painting, and I still have to do videos for you guys. So anyways, I have a lot of crafty stuff that I spend my time doing. But I figured I haven't done a stitchy one of these. I know I did a pixels one for you recently, but I haven't done a stitching one. So that's what we are working on right now. And I know there's the shakiness because it's like I don't have a stand that holds this perfectly straight because I don't want anything like super big and bulky. So I basically just kind of hold it with my hand, and it gets easier as I get further along with the length of the floss. But when I'm on the early stages of floss like this where it's long, it definitely is a little on the bouncy side, I guess you could say. But anywho, this is also helping to kind of like train my brain for cross stitch conversions by doing all of these cross stitches, because I'm getting really gotten used to basically looking at it and going and, you know, kind of getting the feel for it. So I'm really pleased with that. But anyways, 2 weeks. It's been 2 weeks since I've done a WIP and Chat. It feels like it's been forever. Oh my goodness. Last weekend, I was such a busy weekend. So it was the holiday weekend. So it was the Juneteenth holiday weekend. I had Thursday and Friday off of work. So Thursday, I drove over to my parents' house Thursday morning, got over to their place, spent all day Thursday there, and then we spent Friday, and then all day Friday over at their place as well. And then on Saturday morning, I had to come back over here to my side, because I had a corpsman ball to go to Saturday evening, for work. So, well, I had a lot of fun while I was over there. It was only like the 2 days, and I didn't get to be there for Father's Day itself. But we did get to, spend my time with my parents and my dad for Father's Day. So that was fun. And that was good. I'm glad I was able to go over, even though I didn't get to spend as much time as I would have wanted. But I at least did still get the chance to go over since I did have Thursday off. But yeah, we had some great food, kind of chillaxed. We ended up doing like a trip up to Tallahassee. Did some different errands in Tallahassee, and then we went to the craft store. And my dad did all the driving, so neither my mom or I had to worry about driving because my dad did it all for us. So I did that, and then let's see, I need to skip 3. And it was rainy. We are in like all of the rain that we didn't get this spring, we're finally getting now. So it's been really wet here in Florida, which is great. We've really needed this rain to cut down on some of the wildfires and the dryness. Like, we really needed this rain. But on the flip side of it, it now means that I've got the challenge of trying to figure out when am I going to mow my lawn, because every time I'm going to go outside and mow my lawn, it starts raining. So that's the downside. And now my grass is actually growing super fast. So at the beginning of the spring, like in the spring, I was able to go like 3 weeks without mowing my lawn. And now it truly needs it like every 5 days, but I'm not mowing my lawn every 5 days because I ain't got time for that. I do, but I don't feel like taking the time to do that. So I'll do it once a week. So I should have done it today, but I'm like, I feel like it's more of a Sunday task for me. I just prefer doing it on Sundays. So I did not get it done today because today is Saturday. So I will get that done tomorrow. Sunday is when I will get my lawn mowed. I just have to look at the weather forecast to see if I have to time it just right. Or if we're going to be good. Because it was looking fine this morning, and then it turned into like this torrential downpour this evening. Oh my goodness. It was a torrential downpour. Thunder. I didn't see any lightning, but it was tons of thunder, like downpour rain. It was going all out on us. Let's see. We're going to go back over to this one. This is called railroading, where you do all of one direction first and then you go back and do all of the other direction. I like to do it like this because then I feel like it makes my stitches look a little bit cleaner, but also on the flip side of it, it's great because 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's great because I only really have to pay attention for the first half of the stitching, and then for the second half, when I'm doing the crosses back over, I basically just don't even have to think about it. I just go back over that same color with the color that I'm using. So it's kind of one of those nice things where it's great to not have to think for the second half of the color. So that's kind of one of the reasons I definitely like being able to do it like this. So it's a nice little break from, having to do the thought process. But anyways, we are making progress on it. I do actually tend to be a pretty fast stitcher, just like I'm a fast diamond painter. I'm actually a pretty fast stitcher. My stitch rate tends to be, I can usually knock out like a couple hundred, like 200, 250 stitches in an hour, somewhere around in there. It depends on how involved. Like this was only like 100 and something stitches, and it took me about an hour or so to do for this section here, but that was because there were so many different color changes in here, whereas something like if I'm sticking with one color for a hot minute, that I go much faster. So yes. All right, so now we're gonna come over this way. There we go. 3. But anyways, so yeah, I had a good time over at my parents' house, and then ended up coming back here Saturday morning. And the girls always come with me. Like the girls go with me when I go to my parents' house. I bring them with. And they chilled, had a blast. They enjoy spending the time at my parents' house. And then we came back over Saturday morning. I left their place about 9 a.m. or so to come back over. So I got back here. I ended up taking like a little nap because I got back like 11:30, 12 o'clock. I ended up taking a little bit of a nap. And then I got back and then I woke up and it was like, because I got the girls settled and it was like 12:30, 1-ish, and then I fell asleep and I woke up around 3:30 or so, which was right when I needed to get up to like jump in the shower and make sure I was good to go. And then at 4-ish, 4:15-ish is when I got in my car and I had to drive to the hospital to work to pick up my uniform, because I keep my uniforms at work because that's where I need to wear them. Because sometimes it's like, oh, I need a different uniform than, my working uniform. And it's not like you can just easily just drive home and go get the uniform that you need. So instead of having to worry about that, I always just keep my uniforms at the hospital. So I keep my dress uniforms there. I usually have my dress blues, my summer whites, my khakis, and my NWs, which is the camo uniform. That's like my daily wear uniform. So I keep all of those in my office at work. So that way I don't have to worry about hauling them back and forth. It also helps for like preventing any kind of cat hair, dog hair, anything like that from getting on my uniforms, because they literally go straight from the dry cleaner into my office and hang up behind my door in my office. So it's kind of like streamlined in that aspect, which is nice. All right. Doop. So we are making progress. All right. The true test will be as I come around to this side and see if I meet it without it, kind of doing weird things. We will see how that goes. I usually will pause and verify that I'm stitching correctly and that my count is correct, and then I'll continue on. Okay, I did finish those 2 stitches, so I can mark those off. Now we're going to skip 3. And I'm not the person that cares about what my back of my cross stitch looks like, so this also would be a really cool project to do as a cross stitch conversion. I think it would look fantastic as a cross stitch conversion. It's a really cute pattern. And I'm really enjoying it as a stitch along. I like that it's not massive sections of anything. The drops are pretty much weekly. You get a little section dropped weekly, but you don't have to worry about it being, like 1,000 stitches. Is always the drops that are bigger, like the releases that are bigger, will give you 2 weeks to work on. And then you'll have like a small release. Like this one was a week's release, was this tiny little spot. Whereas the previous week was that one. And these mushrooms were another week's release. So it's kind of like it keeps it so you don't have to worry about, it kind of has time built in to give yourself catch up time. Because I was actually a couple weeks behind because I got distracted with I got distracted with something or other. Probably diamond painting, and was really focusing on making it through my WIPs for diamond painting. And that distracted me from being able to make the progress that I would normally do on my cross stitch. Because normally on the weekends, I tend to do more cross stitching on the weekends. Like my normal weekend would be Saturday morning, I'm going to stitch. And then I would do my painting class Saturday afternoon. And then after painting class, I would usually do some diamond painting. So that's normally how Saturday would go. But lately, I've been doing my diamond painting, and my painting class is on hiatus for the month. It'll start back up again after 4th of July. So that means that, I've been doing more diamond painting to try to knock out my 26 WIPs that I have going. So, yeah. But anywho, yes. So I had to run to the hospital, pick up my uniform. I know, long story short, I digressed. Picked up my uniform, and then I just changed into my uniform is what it was. It wasn't actually picking it up, because I changed into it and then drove from there to downtown to where the hotel where we were doing the Corman Ball. So did that, got down there, and it was kind of one of those things where I'm like, okay, they're like, pay for parking, but then they don't tell you that, they were going to voucher it so you could have free parking until you've already like paid for your parking. And I'm like, that's silly. You should have told me that like before I paid for my parking, that you guys were going to have it like, oh, look, see, now I'm good to go. I like literally lined up exactly how it should. So now I'm going to go back through and do my other cross on this color and work my way back around. So yay, that's exciting. I always like it when it works out like it's supposed to. So yes, I ended up running into our director for dental services. So her and her husband had parked like right by me. So we ended up walking in together, and then we ended up sitting together. I was actually shocked at how few other officers had actually come, and that to me was like really sad and disheartening, because it's like you want your officers there as leadership, because that means that they're there and they're supporting the corpsmen that are attending. And it's basically, it shows that you support your sailors when you attend a ball that's actually designed around our hospital corpsmen, which is like a huge backbone of Navy medicine is the hospital corpsmen. So that was kind of sad seeing that there weren't nearly as many, like as much leadership wise as I would have expected to be there. Hardly any officers there to support. I was like, this is kind of sad. So it made me doubly glad that I had gone, because I toyed with the thought of just not going. Part of it, I think, was that they did it on a holiday weekend. And, you know, normally people are like, well, we're going to be off doing things with the family, with the kiddos, especially now that we're into summer. And so on like the long weekend, I think it would have been better if they had done it on like a regular weekend, not the holiday weekend. Because I know a lot of people were actually traveling for the long weekend. So regardless, the actual ball went actually pretty well. There was a pretty decent turnout, and it went well. I thought it was I hadn't been to one in a few years. It's been a few years. Yeah, I hadn't been to one in a few years because the ones when I lived out in 29 Palms, all of the ones in 29 Palms, you had to drive to like Vegas for anything. And I'm like, I don't want to drive like nearly 4 hours to go to this ball, because I would drive there, do the ball and drive back same day, because I'm like, I usually stay through the ceremony and dinner, and then after that I go ahead and leave and go home. I don't stay for like the door prizes and the dancing and all of that stuff after the fact. I like let the sailors be sailors and enjoy that without me being there being like, okay, now I'm bored. But I go for the dinner and I go for like the ceremony portion, and then I zoom on out of there. It's how I typically do it. So, yeah. So for me, going to the ones in California when we were hosting everything in Vegas, I'm like, I don't want to drive 4 hours to be there for 3 hours to turn around and then drive another 4 hours back. And I really don't want to have to stay overnight, because then I would have to have somebody at that time. I would have to have somebody that would watch my dog for me. And all of that, and it was just such a hassle to do it when they could have easily just done it down in Palm Springs, and it would have taken like, you know, an hour drive, be there for a few hours, hour drive. But yeah, that would just be logical and would make sense. But you know, it was cheaper. It was actually cheaper for them to do everything in Vegas and have everybody drive for 4 hours. I just refused to do so. So anyways, we're making progress on our grass. I can also sit much lower when I'm working on my cross stitch. I don't have to be super tall and super high up like I typically am when I'm doing my diamond painting stuff. I like to be a little bit taller so I don't have to reach as high on the easel to do it. But yes, so anywho, that was Saturday. Food was really, really good. I had the beef for dinner, and it was like a filet mignon, and it was so delicious. It was super delicious steak, and I am a picky like steak snob. Part of that because, you know, my mom is an absolutely amazing cook, and that's not me just saying, oh yeah, my mom's a good cook. No, she is no holds barred, legit, hands down, amazing cook. And, you know, I grew up on a farm and we raised our own beef, so I know what good beef tastes like. So yes, I'm picky when it comes to my steak. But no, that steak was actually pretty good. So I was pleased with the steak for it. And then I'm trying to think what else. And then after we did, I'm tired of that shaking so much, so we're going to switch up the stitch style. Still the same thing. I'm just using a different technique. Instead of moving my backhand all the way out of the way, I'm kind of doing it like this, where I don't pull it all the way through on the back side, so that way I don't have to take I can maintain some tension and cut down on how much this wobbles on you. So yeah, I ended up getting, so food was really good, ended up leaving after that, came back home. That was last weekend. And then this week at work was just, there was nothing spectacular or anything like that really that stood out for the most part. I think there may have been like 1 or 2 little things here or there for work, but nothing that was like a major standout in any way. It was just like normal routine work stuff. Oh wait, yeah, no, there was actually. I was basically putting out fires. I'm not going to go into the specifics of it, but basically something that we were running low on that we need to be able to operate and, work. We were running low on, so I was having to facilitate the making sure we were acquiring what we needed, but then at the same time also messaging the status of everything up to, the XO, CO of the hospital, for all of that stuff. So, it was a lot of communication and back and forth, which is always the exhausting thing. Figured we had that fire put out, and then it was like we ended up in the middle of another fire because another piece that we needed to be able to utilize that piece we had already ordered previously. And normally it took a week to get in, but all of a sudden it was slated to take 3 weeks to get in, and we're like, we can't. So we thought we solved the problem because we got the thing that we needed, but then to the kicker, we got the thing that we needed, but then we were out of something else that we needed that we thought we were already good for because we had already ordered it. And it was just like, oh my goodness, can this simmer down so I can chill? I just went into the hole I didn't need to go into, the hole that I came from. I need to go into this one here. So anywho, it was like a lot of like random stuff like that for work this week. And then, so that was basically this past week. I don't know that I really did anything else. I am now, like I said, I'm working on Fushimi Inari because that is my 200th diamond painting. I am flabbergasted by the fact that it is a 200th diamond painting once I finish it. So I had to pause my whip wheel because I had finished the whip wheel spun It Mine, It Shine this week. And I had taken Fushimi Inari with me to my parents' house. So, because I didn't want to have to try to bring a bunch of kits with me. I'm like, I'm bringing one thing with me. And I know I was at 198 finishes. So I was like, I've got one finish left before I go into my work on Fushimi Inari until it's done. And I only had like 2 sections done on Fushimi Inari. So I had a lot of it to go. So over the weekend, I ended up working on Fushimi Inari while I was at my parents'. Basically, it was Thursday and Friday that I worked on it, and I didn't get as much done on it as I was expecting because we spent so much time out and about when I was over there visiting them, which is completely fine. Like, the whole point of me going over there is to spend time with them, not for, me to sit there and diamond paint. But usually, we're in my mom's studio, and my mom and I will be diamond painting, or I'll be diamond painting and my mom will be painting or doing something else. She was actually making project bags. And then while we were doing that, my dad will be, doing stuff on his phone or doing stuff for work, but he'll be sitting in there with us while we're in there. So we're all kind of in there together, kind of spending time together. So that's usually what we end up doing. My mom and I craft, and he doesn't know how to relax, so he does like work stuff or sits and doom scrolls on his phone. But yeah, that's basically what we do. So I made some decent progress on Fushimi Inari while I was at their place, which was good because I like literally did not have much done on it at all, and I got almost halfway done with the canvas while I was there. So this week I worked on a different canvas, worked on that for like a section or two. And then it rolled then it rolled It Mine, It Shine, which I only needed one section more on It Mine, It Shine. So I ended up finishing It Mine, It Shine, which was finished 199. And that's a Mooney Made Cute But Weird canvas. So once I finished that one, that meant that I then needed to start back up onto Fushimi Inari. Which I actually took like a day and a half or 2 days and didn't do any diamond painting because I wanted to catch up on the cross stitch on this one and on the other one. So I ended up spending, like 2 days. I ended up spending Wednesday, Thursday cross stitching to get caught up. Actually, I ended up, I was caught up on these, and I ended up working on a little WIP that I had started in Vegas when I was visiting Charmaine for the concert. I had started a little, small little one. It was like, maybe about this big around of a project, a little round one. And I kind of got the wild hair of I needed to work on it. So I was working on that in my non-diamond painting time this week. And then I was so close to finishing. So Wednesday, Thursday, all I did was, the only hobby I worked on was that little cross stitch because I wanted to finish it because I was so close. And I did. So then yesterday was time to work on Fushimi Inari, I finished the one side, so it put me at halfway done. And then I was super tired, so I ended up sleeping a lot more than I was expecting today. So I did not get as much done on it today as I was expecting during the day. I got almost a quarter way, because normally, but I feel like, you know, I was distracted doing other stuff. I definitely will be able to finish it, though. Fushimi Inari, I should definitely finish it tomorrow, because I'm gonna, once I finish filming and editing and everything for you guys, I'm gonna work on it some more, and then I will be able to, I just have to mark off these stitches that I just finished stitching, which was like 118 stitches. I'm just making sure as I cross them off that it looks the same as what it should. Yep. So now I did like a little pin stitch, like a loop stitch with a pin stitch combo to end. And then I have this extra floss, which this is a nice length for those like things where I have to make like 3 stitches of a color. So I will keep this and hoop it back onto my floss drop thing. I don't necessarily cross stitch how most people do. I just kind of do my own thing. But anyways, yeah, so Corman Ball, we talked about that. We talked about the random fiasco stuff at work. We talked about the storming today. And then, oh yes, I'm making progress on Fushimi Inari. Oh my goodness, you guys would be so proud of me. It was so hard for me to not buy like 3 kits today during the drop, because there was the Yume that released, which that is such a cute one, the little the kitty cat, the water kitty. It's super cute. So I was like, I need to work on, oh, let me see how many, 4 up. Okay. I was like, I was gonna work on the little kitty, or no, I got the kitty, and then I was like, I really wanted to get the Jeremiah Kettner, because I love his like little Manikineko cats, and that one was like a unicorn Manikineko cat. So I wanted that one, so I was gonna buy that one, and the Yume, because they're both smaller rounds. So I was like, okay, that's perfect, I'll get those 2. But then they came out with the Moonbound Mystery, and I saw the image of what it's supposed to be, and I'm like, that is absolutely gorgeous. I want it. And I was like really planning on going ahead and purchasing. And I was like, okay, well, am I going to get the Kettner and the Yume, or am I going to get the Yume and the Moonbound? Or I was like, well, I could just use my points and get both, or get all 3. So that's kind of what I went into this morning thinking I was going to do. And, you know, do I really need all 3 kits? Absolutely not. But did I want all 3 kits? Absolutely. So in reality, I was like, okay, I will, that was kind of my plan. I was like, well, maybe I'll just use points and get them all. Well, when it came time, I ended up falling asleep because I needed a nap. So I had fallen asleep. I did have an alarm set, but I didn't hear my alarm go off, which is weird. Which side note, I did end up buying an actual alarm clock recently for that exact reason, because my phone alarm just hasn't been going off the most accurately for me. But I digress. So I woke up at 11:57. Thankfully, I woke up at 11:57. And then so I jumped on, and I was like, okay, let me go ahead and redeem some points. And I was like, I'll redeem, I was like, you know what? Let me just be smart about this. I'm just going to redeem my $50 in points. And maybe if I can't decide which one of the other ones to get, maybe I just forego the mystery and I'll wish list the Jeremiah Kettner. So I was like, okay, I think I can live with that decision. We're good with that decision. And then I proceeded to redeemed like $50 in points, which I used to purchase the Yume, which was perfect because I ended up spending, it's like, yeah, you pay for shipping, but I ended up spending like literally $13 for the Yume. And it made me happy because when I saw the actual price point of the Moonbound, because I saw the actual official size dimensions and the price point of the Moonbound, I was like, okay, yeah, I'm glad that I did not. Oh, I just did those one line over from where they were supposed to be. Okay, so now I have to frog this. I hate that it's called frogging, but I have to like go back in the same exact way that I came up and see if it works, and it did not. So this is when I have to be all difficult and flip this around. And you can see how it went weird right there because I went through a previous stitch apparently. So we're gonna do that because I need to move those stitches over. All right, we should be good. So now I can come back in here. And yes, because I have to move. Oh, well, I'm not, yeah, I will be able to move this one because I didn't do that one the other way I did it. Let's see. I always have to say, okay, where was I stitched? Nope. Let's see. So you can kind of tell how that one went under. So I will say, okay, we are going to go ahead and, you know, go from there. This is the tricky part when I hate having to frog stitches. But I was like, I could have probably gotten away with leaving it how it was. Oh my goodness, now I'm going to make a mess. This is what I get for trying to do things differently than how I normally do it. Okay, we're going to go the way I normally like to do it, which is literally going like this. Now that I've caused a knot, yay, that's so much fun. Gotta love what I just did. There we go. Ripped it a little bit, but at this point, I don't care. Now I'm gonna do this so I can see about continuing on with frogging that and then recovering my sanity of everything. So you guys can see this. That's the one downside is it's a pain in the butt if you stitch something wrong. It's a lot more of a challenge than when you're actually like diamond painting. That's a lot easier to frog if you do something inaccurate or wrong or whatnot. So let me see if I can tension that up at all, or if our knot is a knotty knot. Okay, I'm gonna have to get creative around that as I go. Yay. But anywho, I digress. I got distracted by making mistakes because yay, that happens. But I'm also not that person. So now those stitches look kind of, ugh. I'm going to be doing this to pull them and maintain it because I couldn't get that knot to be all out. Might need to, yeah, because you can see how there's just that little bit extra. So there's that one there. And now I can line it over and my spacing will be good to come over here to this one. Yeah, there we are. All right. Anyways, we're back. We're back in action. So I can't even remember what I was saying now that, oh yeah, I was going to buy all three and I was super glad when I saw the price point of the Moonbound and I was like, okay, no, we're just going with just the Yume. So I ended up getting just the Yume and I wish listed the Jeremiah Kettner, which by the way, in case you did not know, Jeremiah Kettner has just started doing some making some cross stitch patterns, which I think is super cool, and I have purchased both of them that he has made so far. So he's got two of them that he released, one of them which are like these, kind of take the inspiration from Dreaming with Elephants, and they're these two cute little like baby elephants facing each other. They're adorable, and it's a small little one, and then he had a slightly larger one that is like this sleeping cat, and it is the cutest thing ever. So of course I bought both of those patterns because, you know, I do love Jeremiah Kettner's work. So now I have so now I have his two cross stitch patterns as well. But yes, so there's that. I am plugging away at these. Let's see, where are we at? Ooh, we're making good progress. It's like 40 minutes in. I'm definitely moving slower as I talk to you guys than I normally would for my normal speed with cross stitching. But, you know, that's totally fine because, you know, This way we can chat. But it's almost the end of the month, so you guys will be in for basically canvas explosion, canvas palooza with all of the kits that I have chilling over on my floor right now, waiting to be unboxed. There are a lot. I've gotten most of my Diamond Art Club anniversary sale kits in. I think I'm still missing 2 of them. I'm missing, which one is it? I'm missing, okay, the wings, the Yume wings one. And I am missing the Miss Butter D. I think it's, wait, what's the other one that I'm missing? Is it the Miss Butter that I'm missing as well? Ooh, now I don't remember. Ooh, I'll have to look and see. But there are 2 that I am still missing that were like, I think it is the wings and then Sakura. Those 2 that I am missing. So those will get here eventually. They have not yet shipped. I did end up buying a restock this week, which actually arrived today, but that was Big Sur, the Thomas Kincaid canvas. Big Sur, that is one of the actual massive canvases that I do actually want. So I ended up purchasing that one when it came back in stock because I missed it last time it restocked. So I snagged that one. And it's going to be a gorgeous canvas. It's a big one, but it's a very beautiful seascape, and I love my seascapes. So, yes. And I have done, so now I have a whole bunch of canvases chilling over there to unbox where I'm like, and I realized as my pile, and that's why I keep them piled up there until the end of the month when I film the haul video for you guys. I keep them piled up over there in the corner in front of the closet in my office / studio, and I do that on purpose because it's kind of like a cue to myself of like, look at how many you have received this month. Like, that's excessive. You should back off on what you purchase. And that's actually like a big part of why I ended up just wish listing the Jeremiah and only purchasing the Yume today. So I was proud of myself for only purchasing the Yume and wish listing the other one because of the quantity that I already have in. I'm intrigued to see, I am like really excited that I'm now starting to make some finishes with the 26 for 26. And I want to see, because I've completed the challenge was like the original challenge from Nicole was basically have drills down on 26 whips at once, which I did. Did that, check, got 26 whips going. So then from there, I kind of flipped it to the other half of the challenge, which is to basically finish 26 that you have all kitted up and you're working on. And I'm still doing them with the whip wheel minus this one aberration for Fushimi Inari. And just, that's literally purely because I wanted that to be my 200th finish. So I don't want to spin something else and then have to go work on something else and risk it being, my 200th finish when I have it slated to be Fushimi Inari. So that's the only reason that I've kind of like thrown off my normal whip wheel that I've been doing right now, which I've actually, surprisingly enough, been enjoying the whip wheel. I'm really shocked that I'm enjoying whip wheel, but I am. 3768 is over here. Okay, that's that pretty great right there. So this is what I use for my floss. I put them on these things and I just drop like that because with how I work, that's the easiest way of getting more floss for how I work. So, yes. Anywho. And, oh, there was a partial piece of floss. Because I do 2 strands, which really means I do 1 strand and fold it in half. So anyways, yes, I've got some outstanding kits that I'm still waiting on. So I'm still waiting on like the 2 from the anniversary sale. I'm also waiting on a couple canvases from Sparkle and Spuds that are slated to arrive on Monday, I want to say, to give them a try and kind of give my thoughts on them. I also ordered from Diamond Design Co. I ordered from Diamond Design Co., which was a pack of like 4 kits, but they all dimensions wise are above my limit for mini kits. So even though it was like 1 thing that I ordered, I'm counting it as 2 for the sake of my gems flow, just because of the size of each of the canvases. They're like 16 by 45, so they're going to be like bookmark style, but longer. And that's something that, because of, you know, having how I have everything calculated, where if it's more than a 20 by 20, it is going to be considered a full-size finish. That meant that each one of those in the little pack of 4 counts as its own canvas. So it'll look like I have a whole bunch more, but that's because it's artificially inflated because it's a set. So I'm waiting on those. Those should be coming soon. I also did an order from Painted Maeve. I wanted to try out Painted Maeve, so I did an order with them, and we will see how what I think of them when those come in, because I ordered, I think, like 2 or 3 things from Painted Maeve when they were having a sale. I also went ahead and ordered, I'm so excited to see Brandy over at Diamond Artisan Shop, to see her back going at it, and kind of like jumping back in mainstream with us again, because I have been hurting for, you know, a Laura Pautrot release, which really no, but it's kind of like with Yume, where I love to see them released, but at the same time, like, no, don't, because then I'm going to want to buy it. Because she's one of those, she's an artist that I have everything that she's put out by Laura Pautrot, just like I do with Yume. I think they're the only two, those two, and I think Liubka are the only ones that I have every canvas that has been put out for. So I did purchase 2 canvases from Diamond Artisan Shop, and that was because they have, usually when she posts some like that, she'll have a sale for opening weekend. So, you know, you get like 15-20% off, and I would rather, you know, buy it right then, get 15-20% off, because I know that they're canvases I would be purchasing anyways, rather than waiting and having to pay full price, you know, like a little bit later. So I also ordered from them. So I have bought so many things. And then I have I have the subscription box from Pressed and Placed that I'm waiting on for that arriving and getting in, which I feel like it should be soon because of when the order was placed and the process for it. So I'm really excited to hopefully see that start rolling in soon, because that'll be my first time with their subscription box, and I really want to see. Also, it'll be my first, you know, one of their hand-rendered canvases, so I'm really excited for that. So those are some of the many things that I'm waiting on arriving right now, canvas-wise. And then I'm waiting on, like I said, those 2 anniversary ones. So many things, so many things. All right, but yeah. The girls are doing good. They are up to their normal shenanigans. Mochi has, for the last few weeks, Mochi has decided that Sushi's hammock bed is her bed. So Mochi has been sleeping in Sushi's bed for the last few weeks, which I'm like, oh, the poor baby. So now Sushi has been sleeping on Mylan, my pug that I lost a couple years ago. I still have like her bed that's, my mom had made like this custom pillow cover for her that had an M and an L for Mylan, and there's a pillow shoved inside it, and that always lived underneath my desk. Well, one of my desks, and I've still kept it there because, you know, the cats will lay on it occasionally. But that has become Sushi's bed right now because Mochi has been stealing her hammock. So now she's sleeping in there, and she's in like a shrimp, the classic cat shrimp pose where she's curled. She's curled, and then her back legs go whoop. So she's in shrimp pose, and it is the cutest thing ever. You're just so cute, Sushi. You were a cute baby. So anyways, that's where that is. I am making progress, I think I need this spot right here, yes. So yeah, cruising along on this. Let's see, what are we doing timing-wise? We're getting almost at the end of the video. No. So yeah, that's basically what I've been up to. I did actually purchase tickets to concert on this past week. So let me get that so I can rethread my needle. So one of the Korean bands that I've been following for legit 20 years, because they debuted 20 years ago in 2006. They were one of the very first Korean bands, like K-pop bands, that I ever followed and ever listened to, and it was called Big Bang. Well, again, they just reached their 20th anniversary. August is 20 years since they debuted. So they're doing, and this will be the first time that they'll have done like a tour since before they did their military service, which was back, I think, like 17-ish or so. So it'll be the first time they'll have toured in like 8-ish, some crazy amount of time. And I'm super excited because so I was going to go to get tickets. They're doing 2 shows in the States, one in Oakland and then one in West Rutherford, New Jersey, kind of like the outskirts of New York City kind of a thing. So I was like, okay, I would normally go to the LA one, but I decided to do or not the LA, yeah, was it Oakland? Oh, maybe, or was it, I don't remember where, I thought it was LA, but maybe it was Oakland. But I was going to go to the one in California, and then I was like, you know what, maybe I should just do the one in New Jersey because it's so much closer. So I'm actually doing that one. I had signed up for pre-sale tickets, but I swear Ticketmaster hates me. So I had signed up for like their members only like pre-sale, which was supposed to be on Wednesday. Well, I was like, okay, perfect. I was like, maybe only by the time I got it to work to let me in for like the pre-sale portion, it was like, yeah, I'm gonna have to get another piece of floss for those last few stitches. So it was like, okay, I can get seats, but by the time it got through, I had done the queue, done the waiting. I wasn't too bad. I wasn't too far off as far as like my placement was. And I was like, I'm going to try to get, the seating area that I tend to like. And I was like, this will be good to go. And then Ticketmaster just said, nope, you're not buying these tickets because even though you're inputting the correct code, because you have to have like an access code to do the pre-sale like that, it wouldn't accept my access code, which is my membership number for my for being, like the band membership number. And I had even, and it's not just that, I hadn't registered. No, I registered ahead of time to be able to do this pre-sale. So basically Ticketmaster had it out for me and just would not accept the code. And then it's like, okay, we're going to kick you. Or actually what initially happened is I got in and then it was basically, I was loading and then it said, oh, hey, I was like one up and it was loading for the seats and I went to click on something or I went to input the code to give me the view of everything. And it was like, yeah, we're kicking you out. There's been an error. Please join the queue again. And I was like, I literally just spent the last half an hour in the queue waiting with all of these people ahead of me. And now it's my turn and I can buy my tickets. And now you're giving me this like, oh, we blipped, so now you have to go back to the beginning and wait in the queue again. And I jumped back in the queue, and at that point, there's like, instead of being only like 8,000 people ahead of me, and a lot of people don't actually buy the tickets, they go on to see how much they're going to be, and then they say, yep, nope, and they back off. So instead of only being 8,000 people ahead of me, at that point, it was now like 88,000. I think it was like 81 or 82,000 people ahead of me. And I'm like, this is ridiculous because I was literally into the buy the tickets portion. So by the time I kind of like made it through that queue again, and got on to be able to see what seats, I was like, now I'm going to be stuck with like, see if there's anything decent. There's probably not. I'll have to go for the main ticket sale at the end of on Friday when regular tickets went live. But it'll be better than nothing and all of this. And if I can't get something then I'm going to have to buy on resale. Well, it wouldn't accept my code. So I finally got in and I was like, okay, there's some actual seats left. It wouldn't accept my code. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. So I was like, fine, whatever. Worst case scenario, I will end up, having to buy these on like resale to get this ticket because I am going to this concert. I am not missing this concert. So I ended up Thursday on a whim. I was like, let me just log on and see. Let me go onto Ticketmaster and see what its status and like see how many seats are sold out or like what everything is. And it actually cooperated. The presale was still going and it actually cooperated and let me buy my tickets. And I normally like to, get myself where I'm like front row of the actual, not the floor, but like the front row of the bleacher area where I have a good view of the stage. Well, that was taken, but there was like a second row area, which it was like one of the rows where the row was like, here's a row here, and then the other row is like half of it. So I'm like, basically there's like one person halfway in front of me, but not fully in front of me. So I was like, okay, fine. All right. And then what was really interesting, I was like, well, maybe I can get better tickets on Friday if I join the regular sale. And the tickets on Friday were $400 more expensive for like the most expensive tickets. Because I think when I finally got through the queue, there were tickets that were on the floor that were the most expensive ones, and those ones were like $1,200. And on Thursday, when I did my pre-sale ticket, those same tickets were $800. And I'm like, holy cow, man, they really like jumped up the cost of these tickets just from pre-sale to general sale. That's interesting. So yeah, crazy. All right. I think we are at a decent stopping point. I've made really good progress on it. There's like a little creature in the hole that, let me go to the picture so you guys can see what it is that I'm actually doing. Oh, it's a skull. Okay, there's gonna be a little skull right here. I had to look at the actual image, not this cross stitch, no, a legend for it. But basically there's gonna be like this little skull in the ground that you'll see like half of the skull, the top half of the skull, with the plants and the little flowers and everything around it. But that's what I'm working on with this one right here. And we stitched, I said there are 377 stitches to go for this section, and we now have 193. So I did almost 200 stitches. So I was a little slower than my normal stitch rate, but really not bad. And I will be finishing this. I will probably be finishing this tonight. I don't know. We'll see, because I'm not that far off. But at the same time, I'm like, well, I want to go back and work some more on Fushimi Inari. But anyways, I know I was super all over the place with today's WIP and chat. Oh my goodness, was I all over the place. I think I'm at the point where I'm like, I really need to start taking notes for you guys, which I used to do way back when. So that way I can actually feel like I have some kind of semblance of continuity with my chatting and my talking. And it's not like, oh, here was this, and then this was 2 weeks ago, and then this was today, and this was a week ago, and then this was yesterday, and the back and forth that I totally did today. So apologize for the chaos. You never know what you're going to get in here. Chaos is literally what we like to thrive off of, apparently. Especially with these 26 WIPs. That is pure chaos, and I'm actually here for it. I'm enjoying it. I was not expecting to enjoy having that many WIPs, but it's actually been pretty fun. I don't know that I'm going to do that many WIPs again, because I like to have all of my kits fit on my in my Elizabeth Ward containers. And right now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 canvases that are not in Elizabeth Ward containers. They're in different storage, so I can't wait to finish those so I can get them out of that storage and be able to use my Elizabeth Ward storage exclusively, because I'm not a fan of these other storage techniques. But anyways, I digress. That's all I have for you guys today. We made some good progress on this little guy. It's going to look super cute once it's done. But I probably have I've got another hour or so stitching to be able to finish this little thing. And then I will be done with that one. And then the other cross stitch along that I'm doing, I have to do like a big chunky chicken is basically the next section that I have to do on that stitch along. But yes, so little time, so many crafts. Oh. But have a great day, everybody, and I will see you guys in the next video. I have to show off my cute little cover minder. I got this little guy off of Etsy. I don't remember what shop, but he's my favorite cover minder or my needle minder that I use for stitching. Is my little Labubu. I'm really tempted to paint him, but at the same time, I don't want to like paint him and then, ruin him. But he's so cute. So the other one that I use is my Ube Donut diamond painting one. That you can see I like keep them on my light with the needles sitting on them. So anyways, that's all for today. Have a great day, everybody, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.